אזרחי ישראל, אנחנו במלחמה. לא במבצע, לא בסבבים, במלחמה. הבוקר חמאס פתח במתקפת פתע רצחנית נגד מדינת ישראל ונגד אזרחיה. אנחנו בתוך זה משעות הבוקר המוקדמות. כינסתי את ראשי מערכת הביטחון. הנחיתי קודם כל לטהר את היישובים מהמחבלים שחדרו פנימה. הפעולה הזאת מתבצעת בשעות הללו.
This is the third week of the war between Israel and Hamas. During these 3 weeks, the Israeli army has continued its successful operations against Hamas elements in northern Gaza. Israel has been fighting Hamas since October 7th, when some 2,500 militants attacked Israel by land, sea, and air from Gaza, killing more than 1,400 people, mostly civilians, in their homes and at an outdoor music festival. Hamas and other militant groups in the region have also taken at least 239 hostages into the Gaza Strip and held them captive there. Israel says its offensive is aimed at destroying Hamas's military and administrative capabilities and has vowed to completely eliminate Hamas from control of Gaza. Israel also says it is targeting all areas where Hamas operates, while trying to minimize civilian casualties. Hamas-led terror groups continued to bombard southern and central Israel with rocket fire, causing more deaths and injuries. There was also sporadic rocket fire from Lebanese Hezbollah and its allies in the north. The Israel Defense Forces said it advanced into the northern Gaza Strip overnight and into the morning, engaging in a series of clashes with Hamas militants and killing dozens of them. Eyewitnesses said Israeli tanks were on the outskirts of Gaza City, blocking a major road connecting northern Gaza to the south. According to the IDF, troops, including tanks and infantry, supported by the Israeli Air Force, fought throughout the night with Hamas militants, who set up roadblocks and tried to attack soldiers. Hamas also confirmed on its social media accounts that it had clashed with Israeli troops in northern Gaza. However, Hamas did not provide information on casualties. IDF spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagar said, in a statement, that additional forces entered the Gaza Strip last day as the army expanded its ground operation. Overnight, the troops neutralized dozens of militants who had barricaded themselves in buildings and tried to attack the advancing forces, Hagar said. Clashes are continuing even now. We are conducting an extended ground operation in Gaza. Our forces are advancing towards the militants. The militants are barricading themselves in shelters, and we are attacking them from the air. According to the IDF, Israeli ground troops instructed the Air Force to launch drone strikes on Hamas positions, killing more than 20 militants. It also said that during operations last night, a fighter jet struck an anti-tank guided missile launcher and a number of Hamas militants spotted by ground troops near Al-Azhar University in Gaza City. The IDF said the soldiers encountered a number of Hamas militants who tried to attack them in the morning. The ground forces directed the Air Force's combat helicopters and unmanned aerial vehicles to strike Hamas cells and kill its militants. The IDF also said that its troops destroyed anti-tank guided missile and rocket launching sites, as well as other Hamas infrastructure. In addition, Israeli ground troops and the IAF killed a number of Hamas commanders. Among the Hamas officials killed were Mohammed Safadi, the head of his group's naval forces in central Gaza, Mumin Hijazi, the head of Hamas's anti-tank guided missile array in Tuffa, and Mohammed Abdallah, a senior Hamas official involved in weapons production, the IDF said. In addition, the IDF shared a video of the operations on its social media accounts. The video shows armored vehicles moving between buildings and soldiers taking positions inside a house. The exact location of the video is unknown. However, military footage taken over the weekend showed soldiers moving through empty coastal land near Gaza's northern border fence. Some eyewitnesses reported seeing Israeli tanks in the Zaytun area on the outskirts of Gaza City. A citizen said that the Salah al-Din road has been cut off, and they are checking every vehicle trying to cross it. The IDF reported that troops were in northern Gaza. However, the IDF did not disclose the exact location of the troops in northern Gaza. It would be safe to say that the IDF's move is an attempt to avoid detection of its troops and to avoid any casualties. As a military tradition, the Israeli army has refrained from revealing the exact locations of its operations for years. Over the past day, the IDF reported that it had attacked some 600 Hamas targets in the Gaza Strip, including weapons depots, hideouts, and military installations. no new Israeli casualties were reported during the ground operation. However, during a recent clash with Hamas militants in the northern Gaza Strip, an IDF officer was seriously wounded by a mortar shell, and another soldier was moderately wounded. In the midst of its offensive on northern Gaza, Israel continued to call on the civilian population to flee to safer areas in the south, as it has done for more than 2 weeks. Meanwhile, attack sirens were activated in central Israeli cities after Hamas militants in Gaza and other militant groups in the region launched a new missile salvo against Israel. Residents of the cities immediately took shelter. In a warning speech, the IDF advised residents of major cities not to leave their shelters for the first 24 hours. Education in Israel has been suspended for 2 days, and the Israeli state authorities are sending large quantities of essential supplies to the shelters for the welfare of their population. After several days of targeting Jerusalem, rocket warnings were heard in the capital and surrounding areas, followed by rumblings. The noises were attributed to the Iron Dome system intercepting the missiles. Megan David Adam confirmed that there were no reports of any impact in the attack. Militants in Gaza also fired rockets at the southern Israeli city of Beersheba. 2 rockets landed in open space without causing injury or damage. However, damage was caused in the southern town of Netivot after a direct hit from rockets fired from the Gaza Strip. The Magen David Adam ambulance service said there were no injuries from the direct hit of a rocket on a house, but there was serious damage to buildings. An estimated 30 rockets were fired from Gaza towards Netivot, and photos show multiple Iron Dome strikes in the area. Amid the fighting, the flow of aid into Gaza through the Egyptian border continued to increase. The United Nations Humanitarian Agency, OCHA, said 33 trucks carrying water, food, and medical supplies traveled to Gaza from the Egyptian side of the Rafah border crossing. This was the largest convoy to the region since deliveries resumed a week ago. A U.S. government official, speaking on condition of anonymity, said Israel was determined to allow 100 aid trucks a day into Gaza. The UN has said that this number is necessary to meet the most basic needs. However, the Israeli government has not yet officially confirmed such an intention. Meanwhile, communications in Gaza have been largely restored after Israeli troops advanced into the Strip amid heavy bombardment of Hamas tunnels and bunkers. According to a U.S. official, the restoration of communications came amid intense U.S. pressure on Israel. The official said Israel did not give any reason for the communications disruption. The U.S. official said, "We made it clear that the communications blackout needed to be fixed, and the Israeli side subsequently restored the communication system in response to our request. There are currently no problems on the lines, and nothing like this will happen again." Israel, on the other hand, refrained from making any statement on the issue. It was thought that the interruptions in the communication lines were probably designed to limit the ability of Hamas militants to communicate. So, what do you think about this issue? Please share your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to be informed about new videos. Thank you for watching us.